This is the Sales Bible Podcast, episode 243, The Day Marketing Held Sales Accountable. An interview with Darryl Praill. Well, more of a babble with Darryl Praill.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Welcome, Darryl. You ready to babble?
I am ready to babble.
Darryl, your guy Greg reached out to me only a few days ago, and he said that you had an interesting topic that you wanted to talk about. It was about the day that marketing held sales accountable. And he said, Pat, would you like to, he said, I've been listening to some of your podcasts. I think he might be a good fit. And I listened to that topic and I go, that is such a horrible topic. Because I believe it the other way around, that sales should be holding marketing more accountable because sales is the one who really owns this whole process. So I thought, well, maybe Darryl's got a point of view, so welcome.
Well, thanks, Pat. You know, I have to laugh because Greg came back to me and he says, Pat seems to believe that sales owns the process. And my immediate response was, okay, so can I unleash on him or do I have to be respectful and just, what? And so, I get why you might think sales needs to hold marketing accountable. And in fact, I would even argue sometimes sales should hold marketing accountable. Some of my brothers and sisters are not the best sometimes. However, in the big picture, no, marketing holds sales accountable.
All right. You said it. What's your thesis?
What's my thesis? All right. So interrupt me whenever you want to. I'm going to go there. I'll play a little role playing with you. Okay.
All right.
Is that okay with you? All right. So, I've seen your background. I know you've got the pedigree, the engineer to the rock star sales guy. You've done it all. You've got all the accolades. So I respect where you're coming from. That's my suck up. Here we go. Let me ask you this. Has a marketer ever come to you,
Yes.
when you're the head of sales or you're owning the team, right?
Right.
Has a marketer ever come to you and asked any of these questions? Because Lord knows I have. So here we go.
Okay, well, I may have to stop you right here.
Oh, my gosh.
See, I've worked on a number of startups. There ain't no marketing department.
Well, then
I'm the bloody marketing department, right? When you're a startup, right?
A one-man marketing department will ask you this. A one-person. I'm sorry, I need to correct that. A one-person marketing team will ask their sales counterpart, the one-person sales team, the following. All right?
Yep.
You still haven't followed up on those leads yet? Have you followed up on those leads? I gave you those leads last week. Have you followed up on them yet? Have you ever heard that one?
Yes.
All right. Next one. What do you mean those leads were crap? They were definitely not crap. Those were good leads. Ever heard that one? You're laughing because you know you have.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Why are you asking me for more leads? I just gave you a boatload of leads. Sound familiar?
Well, okay.
Dude, you're killing me. You're killing me. I just dropped $20,000 in that show, and you're telling me the leads sucked? Is that what you're telling me? You're killing me. I'll stop there. I could go on. I think you're getting an idiot. That's me setting the stage. You want me to carry on?
So who is this person asking these questions?
It's the marketer talking to the salesperson.
No, it's not.
Who is it? You talking to the janitor?
No, that's the sales manager saying that.
No, it's not. The sales manager has come to the marketer and asked the marketer if they followed up on the leads.
No, that never happens.
Okay, thank you. All right. The sales manager is coming to
the sales people and saying, we gave you all these leads. Why aren't you working?
Yeah.
And they're going to say things like,
oh, no, I'm going to get to that. You're jumping the queue. I'm going to get to that. All right. So let's get to it now. Let's have some fun with that. Let me see if I can guess. You're going to say they're not qualified. You're going to say they were just getting the free tchotchke at the booth, or they wanted that download, that paper.
Right.
You're going to say, yeah, you gave me 100 leads. I called 20 of them. I got a hold of one of them, and they were crap. I don't have time for this. I have a quota to hit. I can't chase your leads anymore.
That also, and doesn't that kind of like beg the question, doesn't it? That means the salespeople must have some other leads that they're working, right? That's keeping them busy. Leads
Bless,
that
I
leads that
wish they did.
leads that they have found themselves. Leads that somehow that they know are truly qualified. Leads that truly understand the value proposition. Because this is the thing about marketing is because they're not closing the deals, they don't necessarily know who exactly a perfect lead is. Now,
Pat,
now I will give it. I will
serving the
give. I will give you. Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa,
sales
whoa! I
cocktail.
will give you. It is the responsibility of the sales organization to express that value proposition to marketing. Now, I'll give you that. Right? They're the ones who first find these people. Right
Wrong.
when you're a start
It is
no when you're a
responsibility to
startup
give input.
you got
Yeah,
right, you got the
if
hipper right, you got the
hey,
hipster
we're talking.
hacker hustler characters going on, right?
So we have a one-person sales team. Gotcha. Okay. As
Right,
we're
and the
talking,
hustler and hipster's the same person. Well, the
absolutely.
hacker is making the thing or service that you're selling.
Hey, I will be the first to say sales needs to be involved, connected at the hip with marketing.
I concur. So
Fully agree.
I,
And they need to be aligned.
right, and in large organizations, they don't report to the same character, which is beyond me why that is.
Well, we can go into that topic. I have pros and cons in that one, but I hear what you're saying. All right. The first thing I do when I start a job, and not everybody does this, and this is not common sense. I didn't invent this. I'm sorry, it is common sense, but I didn't invent this. Is I go to my sales counterpart and I say, can we just, over a cup of coffee, can we just talk about our mutual rules of engagement? All right. So, what do you think is a lead, Mr. Miss Salesperson?
And then I would say, hang on.
Yeah, I'm listening.
We help these kinds of people with these kinds of problems by providing these kinds of services that have these kinds of benefits.
That's great. You just told me what the selling proposition was. You haven't answered the question, what is a lead?
Okay.
So a lead could be, it's got this job title. I mean, there's lots, right? We can go Bants if you want to. There's lots of variations out there, but they're in this industry.
The demographics of them.
The demographics, the titles, the size, whatever it might be, the problems, the issues. If you give me this information in some way, shape, or form, I'll consider that a lead. Until you know that, you keep nurturing or emailing or doing whatever it is that marketing does. That would be, once you and I, Mr. Salesperson to Ms. Marketer, have that agreement on what a lead is, we're guessing, we're not lying. I need to know from you what is a lead. And then I'll build all my programs around getting you leads that match that criteria. I'll ask the questions on the form. I'll make sure I have those questions in all my marketing material to prompt, to pull it out, to hit with them. But until we have rules of engagement that says, what is a lead? Then we're both just doing our job in silos, sadly, with the best of intentions, but never to have success. And that makes me sad. That's the first thing I'll ask. The next thing I'll ask is, when I give you a lead, how long before I can have 100% confidence that you have followed up on that lead? 1 week? 3 days? 1 day? 8 hours? 4 hours? 2 hours? 1 hour? 5 minutes? What is our agreement that when I give you a lead, you will follow up on it within this time frame? And if you don't, I get to hold you accountable, and you get to not be bitter and angry because we'll have to find these rules of engagement up front.
I'm not sure how you're holding me accountable.
It's simple. If we agree that you're going to call a lead within 4 hours, I'm making this up.
Right.
You take 24 hours, you drop the ball. I have to hold you accountable.
Right. And if you like if we go work a trade show, right?
Yep.
If I don't follow up with somebody within a week, it's going to get every day, every hour, it's going to get staler and staler and staler.
And a week, that time frame is all part of that rules of engaged discussion. So we're going to negotiate. You're going to say to me a week, Darryl. I'm going to say no, like 48 hours max. And then we will maybe agree on 72 hours or whatever it is. We'll agree on something. But we have to get those rules of engagement down pat. And then I need to hold you accountable to do that. Because let me tell you what happens today. I have some wonderful stats here. They're not my stats, by the way. These are industry stats. You can argue with those who have done the research, but these are the stats. The stats say that 48% of new leads, so like a web form, coming in, an inbound lead, never get contacted. That's stat number one.
Yep.
Stat number two.
Yeah.
Less than 2 call attempts are made.
Yes, I know this one.
You know this one.
I know this
Stat
one.
number 3, the average time to follow up on a new lead is anywhere from 35 to 60 hours. So we'll say a day and a half to, what's that, 2.5 days?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
All right. That we know is bad. Because, again, on other research, what do we know? We know you have to call a new lead within 1 hour. 1 hour. Some would say 5 minutes. They're wrong. But within 1 hour, because it goes staler and staler, as you say. One would say 2 call attempts is not enough. You, Mr. Sales Pro,
It's supposed
you
to
need
be
to make
eight.
I was going to say 8 to 12.
Eight
Pick
to
your number.
8 to 12. Yep.
Depends on your industry.
Yep,
So
yep,
you
yep.
nailed it.
Yep.
And then 100% of new leads need to get contacted. So going back to my original discussion, when I brought you those 100 leads and you waited 1 week and then you started calling them and you called 20 of them once and you gave up on it because they were crap. Well, the reason they were crap was because you waited 1 week and they moved on. And that's why 19 of them never took your call. So the day marketing holds sales accountable is the day that marketing says, listen, I spent a crap load of time and money and program spend to get you this expensive ass lead. The least you can do is call within an hour and call 8 to 12 times. And then when you get them on the phone or get them in a social, live chat or whatever it might be, knock your socks off doing what it is you do best, because you're way better at doing that than I am.
What do you think is the root cause of this?
Oh, I got answers to that. Okay, so
I was hoping so. That's why
you were hoping. You're smiling right now, aren't you? I should tell the audience we have actually not rehearsed this. This is working out really, really well.
Oh,
So-
I never reherse these. So
I don't either.
That's not a secret. That's not a
saw
selling
a LinkedIn
secret. That's not a
post.
selling secret. I don't.
I agree. I saw a LinkedIn post the other day saying if you're going to give a speech, you need to rehearse for hours on end. I'm
That's
like, no.
true.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree, but it depends on the individual. I get that. So here's one reason we do it. Okay, so there's lots of reasons. I mean, people are people, right? We all have our own idiosyncrasies, our strengths, and our weaknesses, and so any one individual may have a reason that they are not doing this. But this is what I contend is the problem, and you're going to like this because I'm not throwing the salesperson under the bus. I'm throwing the technology under the bus, and let me explain what I mean by that. The technology of wonderful, blessed CRM. So bear with me and I'll explain what I mean. CRM, you log in and pick your platform, Salesforce, whatever. They're pretty much all the same. And then this is not a fault of CRM. This is just the way it is. What do you see? You see a list, right? Here's my list of all the calls I need to make and the tasks I need to follow up on. And that list is sorted. It's sorted by whatever parameters your organization deems important. It could be a lead score. It could be a lead grade. It could be recency. It could be revenue size, title. I don't care. It's prioritized in some way, shape, or form, but it's a list. So what do we do? Let's just walk through this, okay? And see if you can finish my sentences here, because at every time I present this, people always finish my sentences. On the top of the list, Joe's Garage. Number 2 on the list, IBM. Number 3 on the list, ABC Manufacturing. I'll stop right there. Who do you call?
It depends.
You're lying. You're laughing, and you know what the
No.
answer.
Now you gotta know where I'm coming from.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, I'm coming from a startup space. I work with companies trying to find their first 10 customers. And if they go out there, and I know what the right answer is supposed to be is IBM, but if they go out there and go try to get some whale like that, it's highly unlikely they're going to earn it for lots of reasons. But they might be able to get Joe's Garage.
And yet, your view prioritization, review sorting, said Joe's Garage was a bigger priority, or a stronger likelihood, call it what you will. And it
Right.
put it first.
Right.
All
It's
right?
within that demographic of like, we help these kinds of people with these kinds of problems. So if I say we help garages, right, who are looking to grow their revenue, whatever that might be. So yeah, that guy, those guys, Joe is in my ideal client. He's my ideal client. IBM's not.
So you are 100% right. Now I'm going to remove Pat from this conversation.
Most people would say, and this is a crime you see all the time, oh, look, there's IBM. Oh, there's so many dollars there. Let's go chase that.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, all the Joe's Garages that you can probably close, you might be setting aside.
Exactly. I fully agree. And your system told you as much. Your system said, based on your lead score, whatever it is you do it, Joe's is better than IBM. But we are creatures of habit, we humans are. And we see IBM, and for whatever reason, bigger brand, more money, bigger opportunity. Who knows? Maybe IBM's big into the garage game now. I didn't know that. I didn't see it in my local, owl or updater on LinkedIn or on Google Alerts. But who knows? I'm calling IBM. All right. That's a problem. They shouldn't be calling IBM. They should be calling Joe's Garage. So what happens? Carry on with the list paradigm. So you keep on getting new leads in, and eventually that first page on your list, Joe's Garage, IBM, fall off. So, which is why 48% of leads don't get followed up on, because you cherry picked, you called IBM first, and eventually the ones you didn't call, because in your mind, you're going to come back to that. They fall off the list, out of sight, out of mind. So that's number one. If you do call IBM because you're really excited about it, you're going to call them once or twice, maybe call them 3 times. Then they fall off the list, out of sight, out of mind, even though the list has a second and third page. Again, 2 call attempts, that's it. So you didn't do your 8 to 12, you didn't get a hold of them. So finally, while you're working on this list, Pat's Kick-Ass Sales Training Inc. fills out a form, but it comes on the list. It might even come at the top of the list. Who knows? But it's a freaking list. And I don't notice that Pat's Kick-Ass Sales Training Inc. just filled out a lead, and I should call them right the heck now. So my speed to lead drops like a rock. And when I finally call them 3, 4, 5, 6 days later, they've already bought from somebody else because, it's the new generation, and I have zero patience to wait. I want answers and satisfaction now. So that's my contention. It's not the salesperson. There is biases, that like the cherry picking we talked about. It's the technology.
So this gets to your, I'm assuming this gets to your software product, right? Like there's there's a ton of people out there. HubSpot, Salesforce. I tell you what, in the last 4 days, I've had conversations with people wanting to build the next hot new CRM. That's supposed to take the leads from the cradle to the grave, or maybe the cradle to they're now clients, right?
Yep. Win-loss.
Yeah.
I hear you. And you're not buying it, I'm guessing?
Well, a lot of people are trying to do that. And honestly, that is the right problem. That is the right problem to be solving. So it is. It is. I can't dismiss.
No, you can't argue.
No. Because it's too the handoff is too difficult. There's just so much to know. Let's just take this, right? Active Campaign is the email autoresponder system I use. It's called a CRM. I could also have Salesforce.com. It's called a CRM. They are not the same thing.
Agreed.
Yet they both use the same terms.
They absolutely do. And it's confusing as hell. Because they're not. They're absolutely not. I could argue Salesforce.com versus Pipedrive are both CRM, but I would argue that Pipedrive is a Salesforce automation as opposed to a CRM. So yeah, it is confusing. And that's the conversation we talk about. We talk about just adjusting your stack a little bit. So yes, we have a software solution for that. So you're immediately going to think that this is perhaps a biased or influenced conversation. It's not.
Well, I'm good with that. And I would be good if you were. Bias
I hear you.
Yeah, bias isn't bad. I mean, it's good to have an opinion. There's too many people that don't. All they do
yeah,
is complain and don't have any solutions in the world, right?
candidly, I had my own gig going for almost the last 10 years, my own firm, probably not unlike you. So I worked for the man for a long time. I had lots of fun. I had lots of success. I've been bought. I've been sold. Life is exciting and life is desperate. And then I did my own thing. And then one day I had a recruiter come knock on my door with this opportunity. And I had that happen on a semi-regular basis. And I always say no. It just so happened I personally knew this recruiter. And he had placed me many years earlier. So he finally pulled the friend card and he yelled at me. He said, Darryl, I wouldn't call you if this wasn't a freaking real opportunity. Go talk to them for me. So I went and talked to them. And in my first interview, I got into a fight with the CEO because at the time he's calling himself. So this dovetails back to the point you're making. They called themselves, their solution was CRM for inside sales. And I'm like, what the hell is CRM for inside sales? And he goes, well, it is what it is, right? And now he was much more eloquent than that. And I'm like, so you want to compete with Salesforce.com? Because when I hear CRM, I hear CRM. Like, what are you smoking?
Just had this conversation 4 hours ago.
Okay, so you get it. I'm like, no. So I leave the meeting. And, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes later, I call the recruiter up, my good friend, and I said, there won't be a second one. I'm sure I just...
These guys are idiots.
Yeah. I was me because I had nothing to lose. And he goes, I've already talked to them. I'm like, you have? Oh, yeah. They loved you. They want you back. And I'm like, how the hell can they not want me back? Because you're the first one that actually stood up and said they're wrong. So as I drill down into it, I got to understand what the solution does. I myself, because like you, been around the block, I had this aha moment. And I said, oh my gosh, that makes sense. And let me put it to you in really simple terms. This is the simplest way to put it. They take the sales qualification stage out of CRM. And they say, listen, that is the domain of the sales development rep, the inside sales rep, the biz dev rep, call it what you will. And it's not the domain of the account exec. Now, in your case, talk about startups, I fully get that in most of those startups, this is all the same person. But conceptually, you have a sales development rep, then you have an account exec. And the whole purpose of a sales development rep is to take a marketing qualified lead, the one that marketing gave them, and to follow up on it.
Really qualify it. The SDR is there to really qualify it. Yeah.
Yes. And if it's really real, and to do it, they're going to have to call within an hour. They got to call 8 to 12 times. They got to call with the right cadence. It's all science. And if they get a hold of them and it's all qualified, then I can pass that opportunity off to the account exec. They live in CRM, and now it's a real opportunity. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the first part is they took the SQL stage out and they said, you guys, you need your own platform, just like marketers needed their own platform. Remember, marketing automation didn't always exist. It kind of came out of CRM because it sucked in CRM.
It seems like it's the only thing that people want.
Yes, there's truth in it.
See, which greatly perturbs me because I kind of feel like people are so afraid of sales. They have this like silly idea that if I just buy this marketing machine, right, it'll just create all these leads and they'll magically close themselves somehow. And I'm like,
didn't you?
Well, not if it's a complex sales that ain't going to do that.
Not at all. You're fully 100% right. You're 100% right. And that's why I liked what they're doing. So, and I was here about 30 days and I finally had my aha moment, which the rest of the industry, of course, had already had. And I said, we do sales engagement just like SalesLoft or Outreach.io or InsideSales.com. Those are our competitors. We do sales engagement. It's everything we're doing. It's just, it's got a name. And the name is sales engagement. And that's what we do. And so that's why I came. I came because it just made sense. And, when I talk about the technology, that's why. Why did marketing automation not work in CRM? Technology. They do things differently. It's not an indictment of CRM. It's just the right tool for the right job. So when I come back and I say the day marketing held sales accountable, that's me really saying, guys and gals, if you're not calling fast enough, you're not calling often enough, you're not calling with the right cadence, then it's probably your technology.
So you're calling the SDRs marketing.
Oh, that's a whole different question. Okay. I didn't say that. What I said was they sales qualify in MQL. But that does lead to the question, to your point, then where should the sales development team report? Sales or marketing?
Good question.
I can give you my opinion, but I would contend in the end that's an organizational decision based on the talent and the people and the processes you have. In my opinion, yes, it should be part of marketing, and here's why. And you're going to like this, because this is where sales would hold marketing accountable. If you're going to give me a lead, I want to know that it's not only marketing qualified, they filled a damn form out, and that's it. But it's also sales qualified. You've actually talked to this person. You know it's real. I'll take that lead. I don't want to waste this expensive person on calling up leads because they wanted a tchotchke at the trade show booth. So that's where
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So you see, we've come full circle. That I think what I just heard you say was, you agree with me and I'm validating you. We should go drinking.
I'm a big craft beer fan.
Oh, God bless craft beer. Love it.
I brew beer too.
Do you brew? They just had one. They had a craft beer festival on this weekend I wanted to go to. I was so excited. I was even a bachelor this weekend. My wife was gone with the ladies for a weekend thing away. And I ended up working all weekend. I didn't get to it. I'm sad. I told you before we went live, I'm going nuts. It's peak marketing season.
I don't know if people know this. My wife, Denise, is a principal of an elementary school. She actually lives 3 hours, 15 minutes south of me. It's a long story why she does. It's because when we went and moved to Asia, she quit her job that she really loved, but was going to do adventure, and then she came back here. It was a little hard to get one. She loves this job down there, so we go back and forth on the weekends. And every weekend's kind of like like dating.
Well,
But in the week, I work all the time.
Yes,
because I got no reason to go. I have no reason to rush home.
Our CFO here at the company, his wife lives 2 hours away, and it's the exact same thing. So he's here all week long, and he and I have contests every day to see who's going to be the one to turn the lights out. He usually wins. I'll call it, because the same thing. He has no reason to go back.
I make it fun. I mean, there's like meetups every night, so I'm usually going to something. Meeting people.
Do you like doing the meetups?
Chicken hams. I do a lot.
So you're like an extrovert then, aren't you?
Well, yeah.
See, I'm not. To me, it's
that's what made me a lousy. That's what made me a lousy engineer.
That's what made, indirectly, I love the variety of marketing, which is what made me, in the end, a lousy programmer, because I was going stir crazy, staring at the screen, trying to do code when I would rather be doing anything else because I was bored out of my mind, sitting at that same spot the whole time.
See, I think that's where a lot of people go into marketing. Is because they don't think of themselves as being that outgoing. Oddly enough, though, there's only 8 universities in the United States who actually have an undergraduate sales degree. One of them is Aurora University, of which I do volunteer work for right here in Chicagoland. The vast majority of people come from marketing. 80% of the people in marketing programs end up in sales. And I don't think any of them really, it's not what they thought when they were little kids. I'm going to grow up and be a sales person, but I think there are a lot of people out there who don't like the thing is sales is that what's great about marketing. The marketing people that I meet that I really love are the ones who actually are out there trying to earn clients, right? They're agencies out there learning clients because they kind of get both sides.
Oh my gosh, Pat, I love you. I'll tell you why. I had this conversation the other day on LinkedIn. It was a heated discussion, and in the end, this individual, it was a sales individual, I won't name names, threw it in my face that how would I know because you're not selling, Darryl, and how dare you suggest what you're suggesting because you're not selling. And I had to write back to him because that's what I do, and I'm like, how the hell do you know I'm not selling? How can a good marketer know what works with an audience or doesn't work with an audience if they don't pick up a phone and call occasionally, if they don't go on a sales call, if they don't listen into the recordings? Because let me tell you, we don't magically know the right expression, the right value proposition, or how to handle the right objection. As soon as we walk through that door and start our new job, we got to figure it out. And if you don't pick up the phone, then you are doing yourself a dramatic disservice, both individually and for your career as a marketer.
So are you doing sales for this VanillaSoft doodad?
Am I doing well? Isn't everybody a salesperson at VanillaSoft? I'm not on the sales team. I'm not comped, but I'm active on as many calls as I can get onto, and of course, I'm out at every single trade show, talking to people just like you,
Right.
having these very conversations, doing the qualifying, everything else. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in putting my butt right there on the front lines, because that's how you learn. And I laugh, right? I mean, again, last week I was at this conference, and we'll leave it at that. And it was a good conference. And that was when I floated this presentation, the day marketing held sales accountable. And it was hilarious. But this one woman stands out for me. She had paced back and forth over the course of the day in front of our booth, but would never come up to us. And finally, at the end of the day, she comes up to us and she goes, "I have to ask." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "What do you mean by this?" Because we had this, of course, we're promoting our talk, and it was right there. And she's pointing at this, the day marketing held sales accountable sign.
Yeah.
And I said, before I answer that question, what do you do? Are you in sales or are you in marketing? "I'm in sales." I said, "Fantastic. Okay, no problem." I said, "You give me 2 minutes to talk to you, and then before you yell at me." "Okay." And then I got into that whole conversation about IBM, Joe's Garage, and right there on I happened to have I gave her a preview of the deck I was going to show on the show, and on it there I said, reps cherry pick, and I'm talking to her and she's like ignoring me, cutting me off. She goes, "Oh, I totally do that. Yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that." She was like hilarious. She was sort of laughing. She was, "Guys, okay, I get it. I get where you're coming from." I said, "I'm not disparaging you. I'm really not. I'm just talking about the challenge between the two groups and how do we make it work." And so, I love selling. I really, really do love selling. You know what I hate about sales, though? And I'll be candid with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I hate the anxiety and the stress of the quota. That's what I hated about it. Hated it.
Well, there's a whole. I had a guy on the podcast, with the idea that his organization, his whole company, he took everybody off quota, everybody's salary. Quota is maybe this will turn your head backwards. Quota is a way for sales managers to be lazy.
I'm listening. I'm not disagreeing. I'm listening.
They have this feeling that if we just motivate people with money, because obviously people are only motivated by money, then they will just work hard because they want to work. They want to get rich. And it allows me to go do stuff that I want to do and not really meet up with them very often, not really follow up with them very often, not really look at their pipelines, not really look and see what, listen in on their calls, coach them, help them, get better at this, go out on sales calls with them, even though traveling's such a pain.
This is how I look at it, Pat. This is an opportunity for you and all those other sales trainers that I respect so much to set them straight. This is called a pipeline for you. That's what this is, because that individual is wrong. Simple as that. That individual is wrong. I can tell you candidly, even me in marketing. Okay, look at me in marketing, right? So I've got a salary. I don't have a quota. Oh, but as part of my compensation plan, there's this little kicker that says performance. And if you do this above and beyond, you're going to get that. I'm going to dangle the carrot. Trust me, I don't work 9 to 5. I work a lot more because I want that performance bonus. I've already got it spent in my head. And I'm in marketing.
Yeah, but those performance bonuses are often bogus. And it's also dependent upon how the company does. Wait a second. I'm busting my butt, and if the company does poorly with something I have nothing to do with, right? Right? Because some tariff got tacked on it, China or something, right? I got nothing to do with that, right? And I'm going to get hurt on this?
So I don't disagree, but in the same breath, let me go a different way.
I'd rather have people say, I'm working hard because it's just the right thing to do. I am here to make my customers happy. Just like firemen aren't on quota, doctors aren't on quota, nurses aren't on a quota. Everybody's not on quota except for salespeople.
Yes.
As if there's some other kind of animal, right? They're They're different than Homo sapiens somehow. They're like some other Cro-Magnon something or other. Well, that's baloney. They're people like people too. They need to be managed harder. Managed like everybody else. They shouldn't be just thrown into the deep water and said, good luck. I used to work with a lady who didn't think twice. She would spend an hour hiring people and then throw them on the phones. You know, and if they stuck out more than a week, she felt like she was successful. And if they quit, that was all right. Just horrible way of managing people. Just,
I can't tell you how much.
we could go. No, I don't want to talk about this actually.
No, but I had this conversation the other day. Somebody was whining about some situation that they did, and they felt bad. They actually felt bad. They were in the sales role, and I said to them, I said, listen, okay, and then I'll shut up on this. I said, I understand you feel bad, and yes, you can learn from that. I said, but in fairness to you, your manager should have come in way before that ever got to that point and said, what up? Something's wrong. How can I help? I said, so you can feel bad. Maybe you dropped the ball. Maybe you could have done better, but it's not solely on you. You were let down by the system. I'll shut up now.
Bosses have got to be held accountable here.
Yes.
That's what I'm really taught. These sales managers need to be held accountable. And it ain't about yelling. It's about they need to start coaching these people and teaching these people. The thing is I worked with a lot of these people. They don't know squat about sales, yet they put them in these positions.
Yep. But how is that any different? You know, and this is a universal problem. I know we're talking about sales here, but I'll come back to my experience as a marketer. How many times have I had an engineer CEO tried, cut the budget on marketing or say, you guys don't contribute to revenue? And I just want to slap them to say, you're the CEO and you don't understand how a business works? Yeah. Like, really? Seriously? You're in that position?
Yeah. No,
if you're a founder,
you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's painful.
So, Pat, I that we don't get along here at all.
No, I could tell.
We should work on some counseling or something.
I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to publish this.
I wouldn't publish it.
Darryl, how can people find you online?
They can find, a couple things. You want to find a VanillaSoft? VanillaSoft.com. And that's a nice sales engagement platform. You can kick butt, and life will be good for you on the sales side. But if you want to find me, Darryl Praill, just go to LinkedIn, Darryl Praill. You want to find me on Twitter? You look it under, you search on Darryl Praill. But my handle is Opinionated. Don't you love that? But it's kind of spelled different. OHPINION, the number 8, TED. And that's me. So don't be shy. Connect. Give me a shout. Join the conversation. I have a blast, and I love to talk online.
Oh, that's right. You said you had some podcasts.
I do. I have you're good. I have a podcast. I have multiple podcasts, but let's just plug one for this context because this is all about sales. Check out InsideSales.com, where we get behind the issues, the tactical, pragmatic things that us sales development people have to deal with every single day. No strategy, no trends, no big picture, just the meat and potatoes of being a sales development professional.
Oh, it's all about tactics, not strategies.
It's all about tactics, not strategies. There's other shows and other people for that.
Cool beans. All right, Darryl, this has been a lot of fun. This has been, I should say this to all the Sales Babble listeners out there. You've been very patient, and I appreciate it. Sticking us out to the end.
Well, the show is Sales Babble, and I think I've just established that
this is the most babbling I've done in quite a while.
I've had a blast, and I'm so grateful for the show, sir. You're kicking it, you're rocking it, and I just thank you for the time.
Fun times. We'll see you.
Take care.
Well, my oh my, wasn't that a lot of babbling? I just got done re-listening to it, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I was rude a number of places. I interrupted poor Darryl. You certainly didn't deserve that. Usually I'm so much nicer to people, but something in Darryl just got the babbling out of me. So there you go. So my apologies to Darryl for over-speaking over you and all of that. Darryl's got some really good points here. 40% of the new leads never get contacted. Less than 2 call attempts are ever made. Average time follow-ups, 35, 60 hours. Yeah, this is unacceptable, sales folks. Darryl's absolutely right. We need to get better at this. And we need to follow up as quick as we can and follow up. So To find Darryl online and to connect with him and to Vanilla Soft, you can go to the show notes at www.salesbabble.com/243. And while you're there, if you got a question, you got a comment, don't hesitate to reach out. Click the Babble Me button, and you can be looking for past episodes and our archives. Did an update on the website. Very, very easy to find all kinds of great advice by topic on prospecting and presenting and cold calling and closing, and we even talk about marketing in there. So anyway, I know this ran a little long. Thank you for listening. Thanks for going all the way to the bitter end. I really appreciate it, and I hope maybe you've been able to take some action out of here, and hope you take my advice and go follow up on those leads. In a couple days, it's the Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And until next week, take care and have a highly successful and profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.